Hi, it's Rabbi Lewis wishing you an early Shabbat shalom. So today I was thinking about the very first Jewish wedding and imagining what that looked like. Not the ceremony, but when they got to the celebration and everybody started dancing the hora. And by the way, 4,000 years of tradition, you'd think we could come up with a dance more than just like going around in a circle. All right, we got fancy by adding the Mayim step, which is really just the grapevine by another name. But dancing the hora, somebody at the first Jewish wedding got the bright idea is, what if we put out chairs and lifted up the bride and groom on the chairs? Great idea. They put out the chairs and one person went out and tried to lift the groom and the chair didn't move. Well, great idea, but it failed. Oh wait, what if somebody else standing on the side says, I go help. Two people try and lift the chairs. It moves a little bit, but not quite all the way. A third person comes out. The chair gets in the air, but it's a little tilted. Then a fourth or a fifth person come out, and finally the chair is balanced and the groom is lifted and the people celebrate, and they do the same for the bride. And the realization is this, that we learn from the first Jewish wedding, at least in my imagination, that, well, one person trying to do something to lift a burden alone is really a struggle virtually impossible. But the more people that see the struggle and can come to their aid, that's how things can be accomplished. And that is something that truly is worth celebrating, something I would even dance in a circle about. So how does this tie into the Torah portion? Well, in PARASHAT TOLDOT, we have Rebecca is struggling with Jacob and Esau, unborn. They're inside of her at this point in time, and they're fighting and struggling with each other, and she's feeling such pain. She actually cries out, why do I exist? Why do I exist if I have to bear this much pain? Now, the lesson that we'll get from this, I don't think is explicit, but if we step back and look at the little pieces, we get this. Ultimately, why does she exist is to then have these two sons, the twins, and raise them. And to have Isaac see her with these children, and the two of them share the burden of raising their children together, and a community that sees them, and they also reach out and share in helping raise these children as a community. And the young men grow up to then perceive other people and how they can reach out and help them. And so we all go through struggles. I'm sure Jacob, Esau, Isaac, Rebecca, all these folks have different struggles in their times that might even cause them to feel such angst, either physical or emotional, and say, why do I exist? And through a lifetime of having other people empathize with them, see that, and then come to their aid, they learn, why do I exist is not just about me, but I exist to actually see and empathize with other people, to come and share the burden that they're going through with them. And ultimately, I think this is the lesson from this part of Toldot, is that when we focus only on the self, it leads to despair. When we feel all alone, it leads to despair. But when we know through experience that other people have felt the same way that we do, and the response that they choose is to say, if I felt that way, I can make somebody else feel a little better. And now that somebody else has made me feel better through sharing my load, I can do the same for others. It helps us avoid having to have that feeling of existential crisis, of what is my existence even worth? Because why we exist is to truly share the burden of life and struggle with one another. Anyway, I hope we all find more ways to do that. There's a lot of people out there right now in the world who are feeling that they're all alone. We all know what it feels like to be alone and struggle. And if we all go out of our way to proactively empathize and reach out to others and to share the load, and to know that others will be able to see our troubles and share our load with us, we can truly make this world a better place. Shabbat shalom.